Back in 2006, Sony unveiled their latest console, named the PlayStation 3. It was designed to compete against the Xbox 360, released just about a year earlier, and introduced many revolutionary features and capabilities. And emerging features like 1080p displays, Blu-rays, as well as HDMI were all added into the PS3, and it essentially made it future-proof. Even now, over 16 years later, most consumers still use these features daily, and components like the disk drive are just about getting superseded. The PlayStation 3 had everything consumers needed to have good convenience, not only during its present day, but also for the future. And all of these features paid off in time. Not only does the console live up to today's tech standards, it's also one of my childhood consoles. That's what got me into thinking. The last time I used a PlayStation 3 was in 2013, and it was my uncle's console. I played games like Gran Turismo 5 on it until it stopped turning on and gave me the yellow light of death that same year. During those days, I was surprised by the graphics, the titles, and everything. Even now, I feel like it's really good, and it's definitely stood the test of time. And now, just this summer, I got myself a PlayStation 3 with many games. I think it's time for what we've all been waiting for. Okay, where do we start? Oh, yeah, the PS3. Well, this is the PlayStation 3 Slim, the CECH2500B. In case you're wondering why I didn't go for the PS3 Fat model, well, it's because they just aren't as reliable. The Fat PS3s are notorious for failing and giving out the yellow light of death because of the NEC token capacitors that just don't last very long. Although there were specific models that had less of a problem, I really couldn't tell how reliable it would be. Plus, I can't afford to buy another console every year or two, since they are still pricey, and both of these models are pretty similar in functionality anyway, so I just bought that. Anyway, I got this secondhand on Amazon, and the seller said it was in very good condition and it wasn't too expensive. It has a 320GB HDD, 2 USB ports, an HDMI port with other audio and display outputs, an Ethernet port for wired connection, and at last, the motorized Blu-ray disc reader. This is actually the last model that supports full jailbreak, or CFW. Any PS3 newer than this model won't work with the CFW, even the PS3 Super Slim. I won't be covering much of that here though, that will be a separate video. Here's a little list of what I'll be doing. I'll be plugging it in, booting it up, and going through the initial setup. After that, I'll be testing out the games and also start playing. Spoiler alert, one of them doesn't work, but I'll get into that in a bit. I'll also disassemble the console to see if there's any dust and try to clean it, although part of it will be in another video. Okay, without further ado, let's get started. Now, setting up the PS3 was, basically like how you set up the PS4. I just used the HDMI cable that came with the console and plugged it into the TV, and then just connected the power cable. And yeah, it's seriously that simple. And then you just turn it on and bam, you're already in the setup. Once I got into the setup, I just went through it normally, although I didn't set up the internet connection yet. This is my first time setting up the PS3 as well, and it's pretty straightforward. You're basically setting it up like any other console from today. Anyway, I'm not gonna be talking a lot, since this is basically the same as pretty much any console from today, so I'll let you guys watch through the setup. Hey, there we go. I honestly still remember the screen all the way back. Let's start playing some games. Now before you say anything about childhood, I've actually never played this game before. I mean, yeah, I've played Minecraft before, but not this version of Minecraft. The childhood Minecraft game for me was Pocket Edition, and I've barely played the console edition of Minecraft before. And the one and only time I've actually played on the console edition was, well, it was the same Bedrock edition that the Pocket Edition uses now, so this will be new. Okay, that error is just the game trying to bug me about some network problem. I've seen some videos of these Legacy editions before, but it just always amazes me. It doesn't feel anything like the Minecraft today, and I feel like the most apparent thing is how the colors and stuff are so different. And instead of the saturated biome backgrounds in today's versions, it's just a plains biome with yellow text and stuff. It really shows how simple Minecraft was back in the days, but I also don't blame the Minecraft today, because I love both sides of it. Okay, now we're in the game. And I gotta say, right off the bat, it looks so much simpler than in this edition. One thing I didn't know about the PS3 edition was that it had the hunger bar, which I thought didn't exist for some reason, since it didn't with the Xbox 360. I also like the way the camera moves, because I haven't played a first-person game with a controller in so long. I experimented with the controls a bit since I wasn't entirely familiar with it, and it wasn't that difficult finding which button does what, and now I'm just trying to get the resources. The crafting works about the same, although I think it's designed to be more beginner friendly. I've also never seen any of these tutorials that appear on the screen when I was playing, I guess at least with this much detail. Okay, so the next game that I'm gonna play, or at least I try to, is Gran Turismo 6. For some reason, something weird happens when I put the disc in. Just listen to this. Apparently this has to do with the console's disc reader, and as far as I know, Gran Turismo 6 uses a dual-layer Blu-ray disc, and my PS3 doesn't read that properly. I did read some forums online, and people were saying the disc reader fails after several years, so I'm assuming mine's been like that even before I bought it. Some of them suggested to tip the console on its back with the disc tray facing upwards, but that still didn't work for me. I don't think this is a consistent method, and I'm guessing my console is just too old for that, but oh well. I didn't know that this problem existed in the first place until I got it, and I won't be replacing the disc drive anytime soon, so I'll have to skip this game. I suspect this is the issue. Now, I have a previous version of Gran Turismo, which is, well, Gran Turismo 5, and it's here. So let's see if we can get it running, because I really don't, I will not like it if it doesn't, run it. Alright, let's get this unboxed. I do not have a camera stand. Never mind. I like how it's always sealed. Oh wait, never mind. It's not really sealed in in bubble wrap. It's actually the launch edition, as you guys can see here. This is the launch edition. I hope this isn't the double layer Blu-ray thing, because then otherwise the PlayStation won't be able to read it. So let's see if it actually works. Oh yeah, I turned on my PS3 beforehand because I was busy recording the video before. I mean, the PS3 booting up video. Oh yes, it worked! Come on, And, yeah. As soon as I said that, well, my Gran Turismo 6 game wasn't working, this happened, and now we have the Gran Turismo 5. Yeah, I know, I have like 2 Gran Turismo games now, but I'll be adding more to the collection next time, so yeah. In the meantime, just enjoy the chaos that's about to unfold, because this is absolutely insane. Oh yeah, I also connected the console to the internet using Wi-Fi, which was pretty surprising because I didn't know that Wi-Fi was already pretty common during this time, and now the game is telling me to update. And I actually tried doing that, but it didn't work, so I just continued playing without it. Okay, this thing is nostalgic. I haven't played this game in ages. Let's start with arcade mode. So arcade mode is basically like the sandbox version of the gameplay, and you can choose your own car without completing races for credits and stuff. I chose the Pagani Zonda because it's one of my childhood race cars in the game. I also chose the high speed ring as the track because, well, it's another one of my childhood tracks, and I've actually driven a lot in this track in Gran Turismo 5 before. I kind of remember the corners and everything, and this one has a high speed area as well as some banked corners, and this kind of makes it a lot easier to drive in some way because it doesn't have a lot of tight corners, and it's just a banked corner in most of the areas, and yeah. Okay, let's start the race. Okay, well, that was an interesting first race. And again, I promise you guys that my driving is better than this. Let's go to an interesting course now, the Tokyo Route 246. This is another one of my childhood circuits, but I didn't really like it since it had sharp turns and stuff, and I didn't know how to drive a car properly back then, so yeah. I'll also choose the Nissan GTR Skyline, which is another one of my childhood cars. I used to drive the Zonda and the GTR a lot in this game, so yeah. Alright, let's go to GT Life. Ironically, I don't remember anything about this mode, probably because I barely touched it when I was playing the game back then. This mode is basically like the campaign mode for Gran Turismo, where you get a bunch of races and special challenges to complete. You get credits for completing a race if you get a higher position, and you can use them to buy new cars like this 2010 Ferrari F1 car. I miss the V8 engine F1s. Anyway, let's go buy our first car. I went with a car from Mazda, the MX-5 NC07. And yeah, I gotta say, I handled this car way better than the Zonda or the GTR. Just look at this, these cars were so fast that I couldn't adjust myself to them, and now I'm just throwing the car into corners like it's nothing. But anyway, after the race you get some credits and stuff, and you can buy whatever is affordable. You can also level up, which basically allows you to play more races and challenges, and also buy cars with higher level requirements. Okay, well, those were the two games, but what do we do now? Well, we can move on to the disassembly part. I have to do this because, well, I bought this off used, and so I need to see if there's any dust inside. I'm gonna be using the iFixit guide for this. The link's in the description. My video isn't going to be a guide though, but I'll put a pretty good tutorial video someone else made in the description as well, so you guys can follow it through there. Anyway, I'll remove the blue Phillips screw to open the hard drive cover, and of course to pull out the hard drive. And next up I'll remove the TR8 Torx screws and the warranty seal, because the console is already used and probably doesn't have the warranty anymore. This should give us access to another screw, and I'll remove that as well. I'll also remove all of the Phillips head screws surrounding the console, which should separate the bottom half. I was pretty surprised that this didn't collect a lot of dust. I know it said that it was in very good condition, but seriously, this is really clean. I wonder if the previous owner used this console for years or just months. Anyway, I'll remove the power supply cable, unscrew a few screws, and then get the power supply off. Now, I won't be disassembling the power supply because that would make a mess, and I don't really want to confuse myself with whatever screws are which. Plus, I'm only doing this so I can clean off any dust, and it's actually surprisingly clean anyway, so I'll just leave it as is, apart from the surface. Okay, now we're gonna remove the fan. I've never seen a fan this big on a console before. And now we get the Blu-ray drive off. We also need to remove a few more screws to get the whole thing off. And yeah, I struggled getting the motherboard off at first, but that was actually because I forgot there was one more screw holding the whole thing together. And once I removed that, everything detached just fine. Now, I was originally going to make the disassembly and cleanup in one same video, but I ran out of time to work on both things and I'm way off by schedule. I'm so glad I didn't announce a release date for this until dead last because this was really unpredictable and I've never done a video like this, so I had no idea how long it was gonna take. I'll be making a follow-up to this video after this one gets uploaded. So in the next video, I'll be cleaning the console and putting it back together, and we'll do lots of fun modifications to it, like jailbreaking. For now though, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you enjoyed it, consider liking the video and subscribe, because it helps my channel a lot. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Cheers!